Oregon Ducks next game. They got Stanford. Stanford struggled to get by Oregon State. They won 20-12, so they got a little time before Oregon comes to town. That'll be next Thursday night, and he's the head coach of Stanford. He's David Shaw, joins us on the show. How are you, David?
I'm great, Dan. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I was at the Army game, by the way. I waved to you. You just didn't see me. So I think you may have been coaching at the time, so I did try to say hello.
Possibly. I'm sure you were in the Army student section.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I was rooting for Army to not be embarrassed. So I don't know if that's rooting against you, but I was rooting for Army to actually play well.
I tell you what, those guys played hard, very physical. It was a really good game.
What is it like though when you're playing Army? All the history there. You know, those kids are there for a different reason. You know, they're there. They're in the military, but they get to play football. But to get your kids up for the game, is it different than getting them up for a game like Oregon or Oregon State?
I would say it is different just because we're more familiar with those and we have natural rivalries with our conference opponents. But for one thing I said about going to play Army, which was, if you don't give your best, I don't think that you're giving them the respect they deserve because they're going to give their best and they expect the same back from you. And I don't know if you saw during the course of the game, you saw a lot of our guys helping their guys up. There's a lot of mutual respect, and that was a good, clean, physical, hard football game. And
you had John Elway on the sidelines. What's that like when you look down and you see Elway in his leather jacket and his sunglasses there standing on the sidelines?
John's awesome. John and I have gotten to know each other these last few years, and we're actually honoring him at our Oregon game. We're going to retire his jersey at halftime and let him have the ovation he so richly deserves. But John's been great. John's been a huge supporter. John loves, because our style of football looks like the style of football that he played. So he loves what we do and how we do it and the fact that we do it with high-caliber individuals.
He never played in a bowl game, I don't think.
No, I believe they actually turned down a bowl game. So they had the opportunity, but as a team, they decided not to go. I think it's a long story.
Well, they had the band on the field, and after they lost that game, was that then they turned down a bowl berth?
I believe that was it. One of those days that will live in infamy in Stanford football history.
Does that come up in conversation at all, or is that taboo that nobody talks about the bands on the field?
Rarely. It still comes up. It still comes up periodically. It's not necessarily a high point.
You just got to get better tacklers on the band. That's all.
Absolutely. We're trying to stock some high school linebackers on the band.
Can you have too much time off? You got a big game with Oregon, and you got some time to prepare for them. Is there a negative to that?
No, I think especially now with this Thursday game, so you don't get a full week off. It's like a week and a half. So we're still getting 2 really good practices in. We get a couple of days off. You get to get some of our guys back, and then we get into game mode. So we have a lot of guys with a lot of bumps and bruises, and we've played a lot of football so far this season. So it's a good time to take a quick rest, not a long rest, and get ready for a great football team.
Do you guys ever think about changing jerseys like Oregon and Baylor and Maryland, some of these other schools have done?
Definitely not. We do one a year. Nike. We've had conversations with Nike, and Nike's given us a phenomenal black jersey, black uniforms, black helmets. The guys love it. We do it once a year, then we go back because we love the tradition. We love having the Elway jerseys and the jerseys that Jim Plunkett wore, and I think that speaks to our fans, and our fans love that.
He's David Shaw, the Stanford head coach. They got Oregon coming up a week from Thursday, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Can you say the style is old school with Stanford with your offense? Is that overstating something?
No, not at all. I mean, it's almost archaic right now. We're dinosaurs to a certain degree because we have a fullback and a tight end, let alone multiple fullbacks and tight ends. So, but we like it. We like it. We play a physical brand of football. We play great defense. When we're efficient on offense, we're tough to stop. With our defense playing at a high level and our offense being able to score like we're capable of, we're a good physical team because, and once again, I believe 100% in what Chip Kelly used to always preach, which is, time of possession means absolutely nothing. It only matters what you do with the time that you have. But for us, when we play and we keep the ball for a long time and play great defense, we keep the score down and we have a chance to win the ball.
But as far as Oh, I think we just lost David. Oh. All right. Fritz, see if he can. Hold, please. See if we can get him back. I was wondering, though, with recruiting, with that style, that, because these kids now, they all want to be in an offense, and it's up-tempo, and how do I show my skills as a running back, wide receiver, quarterback? And, I was wondering about recruiting. Is Coach back with us?
He's there.
Okay. Hey, Coach, did you just hang up? Did you have a meeting to go to?
I don't know what that was. There's a glitch out here in Northern California, I guess.
I was going to ask you about recruiting with your style of offense when you consider these kids all want to be in a pro set. How does this showcase my talents? Is it difficult for you to say, hey, come on in and play this style?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, we've recruited some of the best offensive linemen in the country because I think it suits the guys that want to play at that next level because it's an easy transition. We've got guys starting in the NFL right now. We're going to put 2 more guys in the NFL this year. Quarterback-wise, I think we've done extremely well recruiting quarterback-wise, which we'll have a string of guys go from where we are to the NFL. Running back-wise, I think Tyler Gaffney's showing that his talents. He's going to be able to move on to the next level. We're going to put tight ends in the NFL repeatedly because of our style of play. And then even receiver-wise, I mean, we've got a lot of people don't know, we've got 3 receivers playing in the NFL right now, and we're going to have more. Ty Montgomery's a phenomenal football player. So our style of football is an easy transition to the next level. On top of all that, you're still going to get one of the best educations in the world, let alone in the United States.
It sounds like you're trying to recruit me, Coach. I don't have any more eligibility left.
Eligibility, I'll talk to your producer and see what you got left.
I never had anything to have anything left. Your favorite Andrew Luck story is what?
There's so many.
But is he a nerd, David?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I love that about him. And when people meet him, they love that about him also because he's not just football 24/7. He can't talk about anything else. He loves talking about World Cup soccer. He can nerd out on World Cup soccer for hours. But what I love about Andrew is that what people don't you see it with the way he plays, but he is ultra competitive. And there was a game we played against the University of Washington 2 years ago, his last year, and we set the school record for rushing yards. And Andrew threw for 100 and something yards, and it was on a day where there was like 6 guys threw for 350, a couple guys threw for 400, and we pulled Andrew out of the game. And I looked at him, I was like, you know what, gosh, I'm sorry. I know everybody else had big days today, and we ran the ball a bunch today. And he looked at me and said, Coach, I just had my best game. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I saw everything. I got us to all the right run checks, and I feel like it was a flawless game. I played my best football game. And so here's a guy who's a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's an All-American. He's an academic All-American. He's our team leader, et cetera. And he was so excited because we had 2 running backs go for over 100, another running back go for 90-something. And he was a part of that. And that tells you how unselfish and his character and his leadership and how competitive. He's just so excited that we won. He didn't care about stats. And so many guys say they don't care about stats publicly, and they go back behind, they read everybody else's stats, and they get mad because their stats don't compare. But here's a guy that is truly in it to win it and loves being part of the team.
We love to profile. People in the media always do this. When I hear he's deceptively athletic, it makes me cringe because he's as athletic as Cam Newton is, but nobody's saying Cam Newton's deceptively athletic. Why do we do that with Andrew Luck, that he appears to be faster or stronger or quicker or whatever our labels are with him?
That is a great question, and I don't know. I don't know that if it's a racial commentary because he doesn't look like he should be that fast, or it's because he is big and I mean he's 240 pounds and a big guy. But when you watch him play, and we saw it in high school, he's a pocket passer. He's a pocket passer. Oh wait, he's out of the pocket and he's gone for 40. He had multiple runs here of 30 yards plus. He's a great athlete. He can run. But at the same time, he can also just buy time in the pocket and throw the ball. So deceptively athletic and deceptively fast. It's not really deceptive to those guys on defense because sometimes they have a tough time catching them.
Well, it's like Marcus Mariota. I think people are now surprised that he can throw because in the Oregon offense, you expected it sort of be that read option. These guys are usually pretty fast. And I said, watch him play. He's a legitimate passer. Jameis Winston and Teddy Bridgewater. These are passers. And we keep thinking that they're, a Colin Kaepernick hybrid or something. These guys they want to be passers first, quarterbacks.
There's no question. There's no question. And Marcus, and it's not just because we're playing him in a week and a half. I said it last year. I thought he's the best quarterback in the nation. And I'll say it again this year. He's
Better
the best
than
quarterback
Manziel?
in the nation.
Really?
I personally, for especially looking at our style of offense, and Marcus Mariota can play in any style of offense. He can play in our offense. He can play in that offense. He can play in any kind of offense because he can run. He can be dynamic as a runner, but he can also stay in the pocket and throw the ball everywhere.
Would Manziel drive you crazy?
I think absolutely. I think he drives defenses crazy.
No, if you were coaching him, would he drive you crazy? That style?
On a different level, I coached Rich Gannon, who was a great athlete. And the thing when you coach a guy like that, sometimes you don't know where the ball's going to go, but he'll find a way to get it there. So you give him rules, but then you also have to give him leeway because he's such a natural athlete. For a kid like Johnny, I mean, yeah, there's certain timing with pass patterns, but then when you play receiver for a guy like that, okay, if it's not thrown on time, he's going to find a way to get me the ball eventually. So I have to keep my eyes on him. I have to slide this way or slide that way. So I think he drives defenses more crazy than he drives his offense.
Well, enjoy the time off preparing for the Ducks, and good to visit with you again, David. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Dan.
All right, that's David Shaw, Stanford head coach.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.